Welcome to A Course in Miracles in Practice.
Glad to have you with us.
Today we're going to start by reading the lesson, and then we'll talk about how you can take these concepts and actually use them in your everyday life.
We've arrived at Lesson 130 of the course. Lesson 130. It is impossible to see two worlds. Perception is consistent. What you see reflects your thinking. And your thinking but reflects your choice of what you want to see. Your values are determiners of this. For what you value, you must want to see, believing what you see is really there. No one can see a world his mind has not accorded value, and no one can fail to look upon what he believes he wants. Yet who can really hate and love at once? Who can desire what he does not want to have reality? And who can choose to see a world of which he is afraid? Fear must make blind, for this its weapon is. That which you fear to see, you cannot see. Love and perception thus go hand in hand, but fear obscures in darkness what is there.
What then can fear project upon the world? What can be seen in darkness that is real? Truth is eclipsed by fear, and what remains is but imagined. Yet what can be real in blind imaginings of panic born? What would you want that thus is shown to you? What would you wish to keep in such a dream? Fear has made everything you think you see. All separation, all distinctions, and the multitude of differences you believe make up the world, they are not there. Love's enemy has made them up. Yet love can have no enemy, and so they have no cause, no being, and no consequence. They can be valued, but remain unreal. They can be sought, but they cannot be found. Today we will not seek for them, nor waste this day in seeking not what can be found. It is impossible to see two worlds which have no overlap of any kind. Seek for the one, the other disappears. But one remains. This is the range of choice beyond which your decision cannot go. The real and the unreal are all there is to choose between, and nothing more than these. Today we will attempt no compromise where none is possible. The world you see is proof you have already made a choice as all-embracing as its opposite. What we would learn today is more than just the lesson that you cannot see two worlds. It also teaches that the one you see is quite consistent from the point of view from which you see it. It is all a piece, because it stems from one emotion and reflects its source in everything you see. 6 times today, in thanks and gratitude, we gladly give 5 minutes to the thought which ends all compromise and doubt and go beyond it all as one. We will not make 1,000 meaningless distinctions, nor attempt to bring with us a little part of unreality as we devote our minds to finding only what is real. Begin your searching for the other world by asking for a strength beyond your own and recognizing what it is you seek. You do not want illusions, and you come to these 5 minutes emptying your hands of all the petty treasures of this world. You wait for God to help you as you say, "It is impossible to see two worlds. Let me accept the strength God offers me and see no value in this world, that I may find my freedom and deliverance." God will be there, for you have called upon the great unfailing power who will take this giant step with you in gratitude. Nor will you fail to see his thanks expressed in tangible perception and in truth. You will not doubt what you will look upon, for though it is perception, it is not the kind of seeing that your eyes alone have ever seen before, and you will know God's strength upheld you as you made this choice. Dismiss temptation easily today whenever it arises, merely by remembering the limits on your choice. The unreal or the real, the false or true, is what you see and only what you see. Perception is consistent with your choice, and hell or heaven comes to you as one. Except a little part of hell is real, and you have damned your eyes and cursed your sight, and what you will behold is hell indeed. Yet, the release to heaven still remains within your range of choice, to take the place of everything that hell would show to you. All you need say to any part of hell, whatever form it takes, is simply this: "It is impossible to see two worlds. I seek my freedom and deliverance, and this is not a part of what I want." Now we're going to discuss the key concepts. Okay, so Lesson 130. It kicks off with this idea, this feeling like we're at a crossroads every day, doesn't it? Choosing how we see things.
Mm-hmm. A choice between two paths.
Right. I remember, a while back facing a kind of health worry, and my first reaction was just pure anxiety, thinking the worst.
That's understandable. Fear kicks in.
Totally. But then I consciously really tried to shift my focus, to think about trust, about healing being possible.
And did that change things for you?
Oh, dramatically.
Yeah.
Just the whole emotional feeling of that time.
Mm-hmm.
It shifted. It wasn't about the external facts changing, but my internal state.
And that resonates strongly with the lesson's core point, doesn't it? That what we see isn't just out there. It's a reflection of our own thinking.
Yeah, our thinking reflecting our choices.
And our choices reflecting our values. It argues there's this chain. Values shape what we even want to see, which shapes our thoughts, which then dictates our perception.
So what you value, you look for.
Basically, yes. And it makes you question, Can you really hold opposite values at the same time? Like, can you genuinely want love and hate in the same breath?
Or desire peace, but also want conflict.
Exactly. The lesson suggests that kind of internal contradiction just creates, well, a fractured experience. You can't truly value both.
So let's talk about one of those paths. If we lean into what the lesson calls the path of fear, what does that look like? What happens in our minds, our interactions?
Well, when fear is the dominant lens, it seems to breed separation,
Separation, how so?
You might start building walls mentally,
Sure.
categorizing people, situations, maybe as a way to feel safer, protect yourself.
Okay, drawing lines.
Right, and that can easily lead to feeling isolated, like I'm in this all by myself.
That lone wolf feeling.
Yeah, and fear often fuels judgment, doesn't it? Looking outward, finding fault, but also turning that judgment inward, being hard on yourself.
And maybe focusing on what's missing.
Definitely. A sense of lack, scarcity, like there isn't enough to go around, so you have to hoard, protect what's yours. It's a very constricted view.
I think many people can probably relate to moments or even periods like that. But the lesson presents an alternative, this path of love.
It's almost the direct opposite experience, where fear builds walls, love seems to dissolve them.
Okay.
There's this growing recognition of an underlying connection, something shared between everyone beneath all the surface stuff.
So less focus on the differences.
Right. And understanding starts to replace that judgment. You begin to see people, maybe even yourself, as just doing the best they can with what they understand at the time. Empathy grows.
And what about that scarcity idea?
That shifts too. Instead of seeing lack, you start to perceive abundance, the feeling that there is enough, that sharing actually expands things rather than depletes them. It's moving from defense to openness.
So two very distinct ways of experiencing the world. And the lesson is quite firm. You can't really do both at once. It's not about finding some balance between fear and love.
No, it's impossible to see two worlds, it says. Think about focusing your eyes. You can look at your fingers right in front of your face, right?
Yeah.
Or you can look past them to the landscape way off in the distance. But you can't really hold both in sharp focus simultaneously. One has to be primary.
Okay, that makes sense. Your mental focus works the same way.
That's the idea. When you're consumed by fear, your focus narrows. You're looking at the fear, and the perspective of love gets blurry, obscured.
So each moment is a choice point.
Which lens are you choosing right now? Fear or love? There isn't really a third option or a blend. One defines your view.
And it sounds like the real transformation, the miracle the Course often talks about, isn't about changing the world outside us.
Not directly, no. The change happens in perception. Shifting from fear to love changes how you see the world, how you experience the events within it.
So the event itself might stay the same.
It might, but your experience of it, your reaction to it, how you navigated that can be completely different. Seeing it through fear might trigger anxiety, defensiveness.
Whereas through love,
maybe compassion, understanding, a sense of connection, even in difficulty. The world essentially mirrors your internal choice.
and the really hopeful part of this is that the choice isn't final. It's not like you pick fear once and you're stuck.
Not at all. That's incredibly liberating, isn't it? The choice is always available, every single moment. You're not defined by past fearful thoughts or habits.
You could choose again, right now.
Right now, you always have that agency to shift your perception.
Okay, so if someone listening wants to really start applying this, practically speaking,
Yeah.
how could they begin?
Well, a simple starting point could be just noticing your thoughts when you first wake up. Are they leaning towards worry or towards maybe openness? Just observe.
No judgment, just notice.
Exactly. Another thing is to maybe pick one specific situation during your day, could be small, an interaction, a task, and consciously decide, okay, I'm going to try to see this through the lens of love or kindness or understanding.
And see what happens.
Yeah, just notice. Does your feeling about it change? Does the interaction feel different? It's an experiment in perception.
Any other suggestions?
Maybe just taking a brief pause a couple of times during the day. Check in. Which world am I looking at right now? Am I seeing through fear or through love? It brings awareness back to that choice.
So, wrapping it up then, Lesson 130 really hammers home this fundamental choice. These two ways of seeing that just cannot coexist.
It lays out two completely separate perceptual realities, fear and love, and stresses that we are actively choosing between them constantly, whether we realize it or not. And that choice shapes everything.
It's a call to become more conscious of that choice, really.
And to recognize the freedom that comes with knowing you can choose differently.
Which leads to a final thought to maybe ponder. If your perception truly shapes your reality, what subtle shift in how you choose to see could unlock a significantly different way of being in the world moving forward. All right, I think that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Yeah, went by fast. Really want to thank everyone for tuning in.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us.
We really appreciate you being here. And if you have thoughts or questions.
Oh, right. You can always email us. It's ACIM.
That's ACIM at theworldharmonyproject.org.
theworldharmonyproject.org.